Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Eli back again from Smoking Donuts, and today we're going to talk about the infamous iPhone versus Android debate. You guys might know Marquez Brownlee from MKBHD. Um, he makes lots of wonderful tech reviews, tech videos. He gives you a first look at a lot of things. He has recommended devices that I've got and used in my daily life, daily tech life, and he's obviously a great resource for tech information. So, I looked at one of his videos.
All right, welcome to the definitive iPhone versus Android video.
And I have some thoughts. Now, again, although I highly recommend his videos for a lot of tech information, I kind of disagreed with his take on the iPhone versus Android debate. I noticed some unfair biases in that comparison that I kind of want to go over.
Here's how we're going to do this. So I'm going to break this down into 7 actually meaningful categories. So it's an odd number, so there has to be a winner, no tie. But since we're not psychos and we know that one winner doesn't automatically apply to every human on Earth, I'm actually going to give you a system, a rubric, to help figure out the real winner for yourself.
Okay, so as you can see, we have all of these categories here. And there's some key ones that I'm kind of looking at, and it's not there. So I'm noticing there's no camera, which many would argue that iPhone would win. I don't see anything about gaming. I'm not seeing anything about sound quality or speakers or, a lot of the things that a lot of you guys actually care about when you buy a phone. And also, I didn't notice price. Price wasn't in there. That's a big factor in why you would want to buy a phone. So just some thoughts of what I'm noticing so far.
Into it. So, all right, category number 1, customization. Basically, if you see this icon and you get excited, then you probably love customization too. First, in 2023, it might actually seem like iOS 17 and Android 14 are pretty close, right? I mean, let's be real. iOS just added a bunch of really good features that are very well done. The new lock screen update gives you the ability to change all these clock fonts and colors and put various super useful widgets on your lock screen. Widgets were also added to the home screen less than 2 years ago as well. So that unlocked a ton of customization of home screen setups, displaying glanceable information. But the more you look into it, the more you realize it's not actually that close. And a lot of this really just comes down to the fact that Apple, they do keep adding all these abilities, but you're always restricted to doing it the Apple way, the correct way. On the iPhone, you can't expand a widget to any size you want. You can't put an app just on the right side of your home screen for reachability. You literally can't even place an app wherever you want on the home screen. It must be the next up in the grid of Apple's choosing. You can't change the grid size. You can't change the icon sizes. I mean, it just takes a whole bunch of extra work and a Siri shortcuts hack just to use a custom icon, just basic stuff.
Now, I did cut out some parts. I do highly recommend you watch his actual video. He goes in depth about the new things that the iPhone can do, the new customizations they can do. And then he also goes in on the Android side and shows some of those things that they can do that Apple can't. So go ahead and watch that. I will leave the link in the description if you want to check out that whole video. But yeah, so far I 100% agree with what he's saying. One of the biggest reasons why I currently use an Android is because of the customization. I've always been able to make my home screen look exactly the way I want. I like how I can make the icons as small as I want or as big as I want. I like how I can shrink the shrink the widgets and stuff like that and kind of create my own world when I open my phone. You know what I mean? I like that customization. And I understand that a lot of other people don't necessarily need all that, but that's one thing that's important to me. So far, 100% agree.
Now, I think the other side of that coin is you can make a truly ugly, horrible Android setup where you can't really mess up an iPhone home screen that much. So while you can definitely argue that iOS does it prettier, the winner for most customization, that would be Android. So then category number 2, features. Now that the iPhone has that Android doesn't. A pretty good one recently is focus modes, which gives you super high control over notifications in various different situations with your apps and your contacts. There are also a lot of privacy features, things like hide my email with iCloud Plus and iCloud Private Relay. You could even argue that Dynamic Island on the Pro iPhone is a feature if you want to, but I mean, I couldn't because only a small handful of apps support it. But it's something pretty cool and unique, which is more and more rare than ever in the smartphone world. At this point though, neither OS is really missing any gigantic features anymore. They both matured up to this level where they're their own character, they both do a lot of stuff. But I still am gonna have to give the edge to Android in this one. So I'm talking like battery management features to customize charging speeds or set manual charge limits to preserve battery life. There's also an actual file management system, so you can drag and drop things onto your phone into certain folders if you want to. There's gaming specific features like game modes, the ability to dial up and down your screen's refresh rate whenever you want to. independent volume controls for phone calls and ringtones and alarms. Also, reverse wireless charging comes up a lot for charging wireless earbuds without breaking out a separate cable. Really, it comes down to the benefit of Android is having so much feature choice. That's kind of the point. Or USB Type-C. As of right now, it's got to be an Android phone. So even though they both offer all of the basic features and they appear to copy each other all the time on little added stuff, the winner here, again, is definitely Android.
So again, 100% fully agree with him. I think that Androids, because of the fact that they are more open source, if you will, they allow you to do more and they don't care as much about security, which should have been another addition to this list. But they don't care as much as with security, downloading open sources. You have a lot more ways to get more open source stuff on your phone. Because of that, you're able to do more. So even though Apple has just as much capability as the Samsung or other Android phones, because Android allows you to just do whatever you want with your phone, just because of that alone, that's going to make you able to do more. And because Android has a plethora of different types of phones, ones that are tailored to gaming, ones that are tailored to cameras, ones that are tailored to, speeds, stuff like that, you're going to be able to find more of what you want to do on an Android than an iPhone. The iPhone's just going to make what they think you need, instead of Android, who's just like, make it whatever you want. But then this is the point where I started noticing some changes. It just kind of seem unfair. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, if you look at this list here, again, we went over features, we went over customization, which a lot of people would think those are two of the most important things that a phone has. Cameras, also added speakers, also added, like all the things that you're really using your phone for are in the features, but that kind of got brushed through very fast. I think features in itself could be multiple different categories, and we're gonna give it to Android. Just kind of go over it real quick, give it to Android. Like, yeah, the features are better here, which I think are way more important than some of these other things on the list. Like, we have ease of use. So we're actually taking ease of use and measuring it as a clear point up against features. Does that seem fair? Well, I think all smartphones are easy to use these days. I mean, if you don't know how to use a smartphone in 2024, I have bad news for you, because they're not going anywhere. And especially with voice controls, I mean, you can press the little mic icon and tell your phone what you want it to do these days, and it'll just do it. Open apps for you, text for you, search things for you. You have ChatGPT, which you can do anything for you. I don't think ease of use should be a category, especially when we didn't have camera and price as a category. We're going to ease of use, and I kind of feel like it's just to give Apple a point.
Now, number 3 is ease of use. Now, ease of use is very valuable to a lot of people, like a lot of people. And the thing about ease of use is it often basically has an inverse relationship with customization and a ton of features, because there's this delicate balancing act you have to do of having flexibility, giving flexibility to the user, but not overwhelming them with a ton of buttons and settings. And this is really where the iPhone excels and has excelled for years as a high priority for sure, even in the most fundamental ways. The home screen on the iPhone has had up to 4 icons in the dock on every iPhone since the beginning. And the phone icon has always been green and always been on the left every single time for 17 years. The iPhone's camera app, we've all seen that stay fundamentally the same with the viewfinder and the sliding modes. It's been like that for years. And that kind of tucks away a lot of the settings into a separate settings app, and it can feel like it's missing features, but honestly, it's still the easiest and most straightforward for most people to use. It's like they hate changing things for no good reason.
Should we really be giving Apple a point for that, though? Because they restrict your apps and give you limited access? I don't know. Let me know what you think.
So ease of use is a checkbox for the iPhone. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, get subscribed. Why not? It's free. All right, so we got to talk about updates. So number 4 is support. So this is something that I would classify as kind of underrated, just because I don't think enough people buy their new phone that they plan on having for years with this in mind. I think having the latest and greatest updates, software, and security patches as quick as possible and as long as possible should be a priority, but it usually isn't for people. Weirdly, Samsung right now is the undisputed king of Android software updates, with some rumors of maybe Google catching back up, but Samsung announced in 2019 that all devices in 2019 or later will get 4 years of security updates, and some flagships will even get 5. But none of them really come close to the iPhone. When iOS 17 comes out this fall, every iPhone back to the iPhone XR from 2018 is officially supported and going to get the latest version. That's 5 major software version updates. I don't think there are any Android phones from 2018 that are going to get the latest version of Android 14 when it comes out. So this one easily goes to the vertically integrated Apple phone with the Apple software all day.
Okay, so the updates is another thing that I kind of disagree with. So even though they're offering updates to older models of the iPhone, does that really matter though? Because if you're getting an old iPhone and it's already been reports of them throttling older phones to try to encourage you to get a new phone, all they say is to preserve battery life, so let me be fair there. And when you get the fully upgraded iPhone, you're still restricted in customization and things that you can do. Why would me getting more updates for the Apple phone matter as much as it does for the Android? That's like if I said, hey, BlackBerry's still updating their software. So if you have a BlackBerry from 2012, you'll still get updates in 2024. I'm not saying that's actually happening, but would that matter to you? Like, would that make you buy a BlackBerry? No. If you're getting a worse experience, the update to that worse experience isn't really gonna make a difference when the other companies are also updating. So I just felt like there was better points of emphasis than these. And ironically, Apple got those two. He goes on to talk about the apps. They get priority when it comes to developers, even though Android has more apps. Developers will prioritize Apple apps than get them out first, which is actually true. So I would have given that to Apple anyway. And then the ecosystem, obviously, I would give to Apple because they make it that way. They kind of force you into their ecosystem and make everything better for the iPhone because of their ecosystem. So I just think a lot of these points of emphasis started getting unfair and biased towards Apple, even though the more important things, like I discussed earlier, are in the features and customization that should matter more to a phone user.
Tally these all up here, you can see that the objective winner in 4 out of the 7 categories that I made up is the iPhone. But, put your pitchforks down, guess what? There is no, as you've probably picked up from the beginning of this video, there is no objective winner to a decision as personal as this one and when the options are this close. You probably already know. If you've been watching my videos, you know I main an Android phone most of the time alongside an iPhone, but my main phone and my main customized setups are on the Android phone, so what gives? Like, picking one de facto winner kind of suggests that the one winner is best for everyone, but we already know that there's some people who literally don't care about some features that some others would say they can't live without.
Ultimately, I think Marquez hits the nail on the head here. There's never really going to be a true winner. If you're into iPhones, you're going to always be into iPhones. If you're into Androids, you're always going to be into Androids. And he makes it a perfect statement at the end where he says, you really have to take these things and weigh them according to the importance to you. So if features and customization, like, they are obviously important to me, you're going to weigh them at the top. That makes a lot of sense, to be honest. So if you thought there should have been other categories, let me know. If you think you want me to make maybe a rubric of my own, I could do that, and I would love to do that. I've done this multiple times, again, debating against friends, debating against family. So if you want to see a video of my own with my own rubric and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to do that. If you agree with this one, let me know. Like I said, I will leave his channel in the description if you want to see the rest of this video. That was part of this one, but until the next one, guys.